Can you believe it? One slip-up and his seduction puts Light's situation in serious trouble. Hey, give me an apple. Quick, I just want to eat an apple. Light feared the pet might have provoked, so he quickly bought its favourite apple, but I missed it, letting it fall. What a comedy. This immediately alerted Light. He discreetly checked his phone and found he was being followed. Back home, Light furrowed his brow. He seemed suspicious, but didn't know who stalked him, so couldn't use the death note. He had to wait for Ryuk to reveal the secret. The Shinigami has eyes to see anyone's fate and lifespan. Such an epic plot can't be enjoyed alone. You need a girlfriend to watch it with. Looking for a partner? Try really for high quality, educated matches. Aim for rigorously verify. Fake accounts blocked instantly. Choosing is an art, try it. Light ignored Ryuk's teasing, pondering the third death note rule, 6 minutes, 40 seconds to detail the death after cause. Soon after, police found 3 criminals acted oddly before dying. One cut his finger and drew an alien on the wall. The second person wrote a suicide note in one breath, while the third one went wild, escaping prison only to choose a staff bathroom for his grand finale. How bizarre! Upon hearing the news, Director Igami blocked the deaths immediately, suspecting L was using the criminals for tests. What a weirdo! Using his father's police system, Light saw criminals act as he described before dying, thrilling him. Had create new rules. The next day, while shopping with his girlfriend, the detective stalking him sat right behind her. Light unexpectedly locked eyes with her, ready to ask questions, when suddenly a robbery broke out on the bus. The robber took the bus driver hostage. Light wrote a note hinting his girlfriend to get rich, which the detective behind also read ridiculous. The detective intervened, saying he'd protect them, and advised Light not to rush, but Light distrusted her. What a laugh! After a long hesitation, the detective finally pulled out her badge to prove her identity. And thus Light learned a lesson in fully controlling her fate. Suddenly, the note fell, and he quickly bent to pick it up. What a kind soul! Fueled by rage upon seeing the note, the robber wanted to eliminate Light. Just then, she spotted a monster when Al glimpsed the note on the floor. He instantly realized it was a private note, and the terrifying scene made the robber snap. She frantically squeezed the trigger, but human weapons were useless. The robber was terrified, and didn't notice the scary vehicles behind. Light hid the note. It was all Light's cunning plan, writing the robber died in a crash. What a comeback! To calm the hostages, the detective must reveal her identity, thus Light could easily learn Officer Lay's name. Little did she know her life was about to be controlled by someone else. However, Light still didn't dare act against L, as he suspected that there were more people being watched. He really was cautious. If only L, who was stalking him, had an accident, it would undoubtedly expose him, unless he could eliminate all the watchers at once. At this moment, Light seemed more like a villain than the Shinigami. Light, posing as Gila, threatened L to board the subway, fetch the bag, extract a radio, and even doubted her authenticity. Hilarious. Light casually told her to pay attention to her surroundings, and just as Elle looked on in shock, the person next to her suddenly seemed to get choked, collapsing. It was as if the person just dozed off. Elle couldn't help but poke her, only to find she had already lost all life signs. At that moment, Light demanded Elle to name all the investigators, or else each passenger would be on the blacklist. But Elle knew nothing about others, only communicating with the commander. Light anticipated this. She told Elle to write the commander's name, panicking Elle as the commander sent her all investigator data. It seemed like force or something, preparing paper in advance for Elle to list all investigators' names. After Elle finished writing all the names and set down the bag, she suddenly uncovered a strange secret. Just as she was shocked, a voice in her earpiece ordered her to get off the subway. As Elle stepped out of the carriage, her wife happened to spot her. Just when Elle was about to speak, her heart felt the sharp sting. When Light pulled out the detective list that Elle had left, a time of death was glaringly clear. As it turned out, the papers were torn from the death note. Light had prepared them for Elle to fill in, while investigators worldwide clutched their chests in agony simultaneously. They all died from cardiac arrest, even the commander overseas, who was completely dumbfounded at the shocking news. Why pursue Sheila so relentlessly, forcing her to extremes, when she only targeted criminals? In a flash, hundreds of investigators withdrew, leaving only 6 survivors, making for a pitiful situation that was painful to witness. How are we supposed to investigate now? Elle suddenly remarked. Turns out, she'd been waiting for this, as her cowardly companions split up. She awaited teammates with strong justice, fearless of death, but the hotel only saw a slack young man. Director Yagami didn't judge by looks, bringing his team to reveal themselves. Elle had accurately deduced it. To kill, Gila had two necessary conditions: appearance and life itself. She instructed everyone not to show their faces, while at the same time everyone's lives were put to the test. It's indicated that among those being investigated, one of them was Gila, and all her moves suggested she was an immature and competitive person. If she ignored the police's pursuit, no one could do anything, but now she had clearly slipped. After reviewing subway surveillance, Elle found that when Lei died, her hand desperately pointed inside, hinting she saw Gila. Since Elle was tracking Light, he became the prime suspect. She decided to install surveillance at Director Yagami's house to secretly track his actions. Despite his fury, Director Yagami disregarded objections and agreed, insisting she cover all blind spots. But little did she know, her own son was Gila, and she had pushed him to the brink of life and death. Before leaving, the man set traps on the bedroom door. That day, she found the pencil lead snapped. This revelation made Light cautious. Even when Rag demanded apples, he stayed silent, quietly studying. It was this caution that allowed him to escape again, while his father and Elle were monitoring him around the clock. Should he communicate with the Shinigami, it would definitely be discovered.